Okay, again, welcome to the June 16th Thursday's chat. We this is a special day because this will be the last of Steve's official appearances on this weekly thing. We have a couple of announcements. Betty Shapiro.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm actually making an announcement in behalf of Sharon Gouveia for the Volunteer Outreach Committee. If you have ventured forth out of your apartment today instead of watching TV, you may have seen this. This is a flyer that talks about requested donations to the Women's Lunch Place. Sharon has found out that they are expanding their programs and services to meet the needs of many women who are homeless in Boston, and many who had been in the tents along Mass and Cass are among those. And the things that they are in urgent need of are umbrellas, plastic rain ponchos, cloth tote bags, and small suitcases on wheels. There's going to be a bin of some sort put out by the waterfall in Nash to take collections for any of these items that you may want to donate from June 27th to June 30th. I repeat those items so you can perhaps start thinking about that. Umbrellas, plastic rain ponchos, cloth tote bags, and small suitcases on wheels. Thank you.
Okay, and Benita Ross.
Thank you, Jerry. I hope that this wonderful weather, people have gotten out and enjoyed the landscaping. And many of you have, I hope, seen the wildflower slope that is on the way to the health center. It's beautiful. There's been a series of successive flowers that are blooming. We ask that people not pick the flowers. If you do, they will not have an opportunity to reseed for next year. These flowers regenerate by seeding, by self-seeding. So the fact that the flowers bloom and drop their seeds really will help ensure that we'll have them to enjoy next year. So walk by, take a look. They're wonderful. It's beautiful. Take some pictures, enjoy it, and enjoy the landscaping. You'll see coming into focus also, the front of the 5,000 building is in the process of being re-landscaped. So thank you very much. Please share that with anyone else that you may see. Everyone here, I think, has to be a protector of the landscaping plan here. So thank you. Thanks, Jerry.
Welcome. You're welcome. David Rader.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Hi, everybody. So just a couple quick things. Betty brought up the Women's Lunch Place, and I just wanted to, it just brought back a memory that we had several projects that had to do with the Women's Lunch Place, where residents actually created tote bags that were donated many years ago to the Women's Lunch Place. So I know you all have received a tote bag yesterday, and while I would encourage you to keep them and use them, I would also understand if you gave it to a good cause. So so there's that. The other two things I just wanted to share, first and foremost, is that the trip tonight to the Cottage restaurant in Wellesley is still on. We had a number of people drop off, but I wanted to remind everybody that the dinner is taking place outdoors and there is still room on the bus. So we didn't meet the number of 7 required, but we are still going. The 6 people who have signed up, they deserve to go. So there is room on the bus if you want to make a last minute decision to dine outdoors at the Cottages in Wellesley. The bus leaves from the front desk at 5:30. You don't have to sign up in advance, just come and join the group. And last but not least, this is not a surprise to Steve, but we're having I sent out a notice yesterday about his retirement party. which is Tuesday, June 21st, and it's going to be between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in Great Meadow Hall. There will be a part of the program that it will be like an open mic. So anybody that would like to say anything to Steve will be welcome to do so. So if you wanted to prepare some remarks, this is your chance. That's all I have. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Well, Jerry, I just want to say I have flashbacks to community meetings. So, open mic was always scary for me.
Well, you can go, it's your turn in any case. So Steve, go ahead.
Actually, I see Matt has raised his hand, so
All
I'm
right. Okay,
willing to
Matt.
yield the floor.
I appreciate it. So I'm close to sitting in the chair, so to say. And before this opportunity even presented itself, I have planned a vacation with my family. And I wanted to let everybody know that I will not be at Newbridge 4th of July week and returning in that Wednesday. While I'm not here, Rhonda Glyman will be in charge, but I also will be accessible if needed. So I just wanted to put that out there. This happened long before I even knew there was a possibility of a job opening, and just don't want anybody to be surprised. So just wanted to share that here.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
All right, so I do have a couple of announcements. The first, I don't know if people have had a chance to start looking through the book for the coming of age, but usually when you're thinking about how good something could come out, you rarely, or I rarely, see something that just blows away that fantasy. And I think this book is an example of that. It's just the most amazing thing. I've leafed through, read 10 so far. I'll be reading more, but it just seems, as I had said to the four folks that helped make this possible, Prue, Judy, Sharon, and Barbara, this is the finest example of community giving back to community. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am with this. And I will also say, I was so thrilled with the activities yesterday for the coming of age celebration. And I want to thank everybody who helped plan that. Takes a lot of people to make something look that easy. And I just am so appreciative of all the people. And I'm not going to start listing them. You know who you are, but again, it makes such a difference when you guys do that. I figured the one last thing that I would mention, because you guys just love it so much, is I'm going to go through the New York Times COVID numbers, one last fun time with you all. And the reason I'm doing it is because overall it's encouraging news, but we're not quite there yet to change protocols. So I wanted to just give you the new news. If you recall, a week ago when we were talking, when we looked at Norfolk County, it was in the high 20s. It had broken 30. It was 29, 28. It's now down to 23. If we look at Boston, it's down to 25. Middlesex is down to 26. And if you go to Plymouth County, 18, Bristol County, 19. So the overall trend for Massachusetts is going down. But as you can see, where we are today isn't quite at the low period when we loosened up all of our restrictions. And if you look at the CDC .gov website, they do still have Norfolk County as a red, even though when I go to some place like Essex County, it's yellow, and their numbers are literally one under ours. It just seems prudent for us to keep the restrictions for now. And, and again, we will reevaluate them next Thursday. And I should say, Matt and his team will be reevaluating them next Thursday. But I figured if I'm going to go out on a good note, let's go out on a cautious note to make sure that we continue the trend for us here. I'm pleased to report that we are currently at 4 positive cases, which if you remember 2 weeks ago, we were all the way up to 18. We did have 1 new case that came in yesterday. We had a repeat that showed up. The good news is Victor reported to me that in 3 of the 4 cases, they're all asymptomatic. There's no symptoms. So only 1 person is showing symptoms. So again, we're being, at the height of caution to make sure that we try and keep this community safe. The other thing I want to mention, I was asked this question yesterday, and I think it's worthy for us to at least know about this on this call. The question was, how many cases do we know of were cross-transferred? And the answer is we know of no cases that were cross-transferred within Newbridge. That said, the waters got muddy when we got to such a large number. Most people were speculating on locations outside of Newbridge, but nobody could be sure where they may have gotten infected. So again, that speaks to continuing to wear masks. I see people are getting a little looser on that, so be careful. And again, we're going to keep visitors from coming to dining and being in public areas and stuff like that, just to keep us safe 1 more week. So with that, Jerry, I will say, I think, except for questions, you guys are probably ready to kick me out of here, which is good.
Well, let's see what questions there are before we move to beyond that. Are there any questions of Steve or any suggestions? Oh, Josh Ferraro.
Hi, yeah, everyone. I just want to reiterate that, along with, Matt and Steve's decision about protocols, that we will not be reverting back as we originally planned to changing dining protocols on the 20th. So we will continue to extend the free delivery. So everything we've been doing for the past 2 weeks in dining will continue through next week. And then to Steve's point, we'll make an assessment midweek next week and communicate where we land on this Zoom call next Thursday. And of course, in the foodie as well. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome. So is there anybody else? You see anybody, Faye? Okay, so I guess, Steve, it's time for us to say goodbye. This will be your last official appearance on our Thursday chat. But of course, you'll be welcome to come back anytime. You have the code, so you can just drop in when you get lonely. But we'll still be here. Next week, we enter a whole new era with Matt Hollingsworth center stage. But Steve, I want to take the opportunity to thank you with all my heart for your courage in coming back week after week for over 2 years and not shying away from any kind of a question, even those that were not so kind. And people saw that you listened and even changed your approach, sometimes even after hearing some unpleasant comments. It's been a wonderful partnership between you and our residents and Zoom, and arrangements that got us through difficult times in a way that I think no other independent living location had. Thank you again. We have a number of people. We have 20 people. We decided to limit it to that to start with, who signed up to say something. And if there's time, as it looks like there will be, we'll take others at the end. When I have the people in alphabetical order, when I announce the first speaker, I will indicate who is the following speaker and ask you to unmute and be ready. So actually, the first speaker is John Averill, who had said that he unfortunately couldn't be here and was very anxious to have his message to Steve. So read here, and so Faye Busgang will do that now. And Francis Budd will follow.
So I'm reading on behalf of John Averill, and this is what he had to say. Steve first met my wife Shirley and me in 2010. In us, he found a lapsed evangelical and a not very active Jewish woman. At Newbridge, we have met many individuals with marginal practice of their particular faith and many more strongly devoted to personal views of religion, Jews, Protestants, Catholics of all flavors. Through all his years, Steve has provided equal opportunities for all personal religious views and practices. I commend him for successfully directing and helping all of our complex religious needs and desires to be realized here at Newbridge. So for myself, I would like to thank Steve for his accessibility, especially here on Zoom where he has answered questions. And I have very much appreciated that whenever we wanted to talk to him about something personally, he was always ready to meet with us. That's it.
Thank you. So now Francis Budd, who will be followed by Judy Goldman.
I hope you can see me because I can see that my video isn't on. But Steve, I also want to thank you for all these years here. I will make my remarks shorter. But when I first met you the second day we moved in, you were so exuberant and full of life. I thought maybe you had a glass of champagne with every resident, and you've kept that on all these years, no matter what problem you may have been presented with. You're always able to take care of it in a very open and easy manner. Let's see. I always enjoy the anecdotes on your Friday weekly letter. And to me, when you say Newbridge, it's synonymous with Steve Colwell. And all I can say is I wish you and your family much happiness and success going forward. And thank you for everything.
Thank you. Judy Goldman, followed by Len Green.
Steve, I tried to add up the amount of meetings that we've sat together, and I lost count, but you were always there to try to ease the situation and give good guidance. And for that, I thank you. Now, my name is not Rabbi Judy, but I would like to finish with a prayer for the retiree. As God blessed our ancestors on their journeys, so may you be blessed as you embark on the journey of your retirement. May you find rest and challenge, quiet and adventure. May you be sustained by the achievements of your work life and inspired by the possibilities of what lies ahead. May you allow yourself to experience silence and rest, and may you open yourself to new music that may emerge from that silence. We will miss you.
Thank you. Len Green, followed by Phyllis Hirsch.
Hi, Steve. I'd like to begin by mentioning that yesterday, June 15th, was the 12th anniversary of my arrival here at Newbridge. And so it was exactly 12 years ago yesterday that I met you for the first time. As Judy just mentioned, during that 12-year period, you and I have been in many, many meetings together. So on reflection, I was thinking back to a meeting that you and I attended about 8 or 9 years ago. At that time, I was the president of NILMA. And for those of you who are new to Newbridge, NILMA is the predecessor organization to NMA. So in that capacity, both you and I drove to a meeting at Orchard Cove. And the meeting was to meet with our respective counterparts at Orchard Cove. Now, quite frankly, I don't remember the purpose of the meeting, but I do remember very clearly that when the meeting was over, we were sitting in your car in the parking lot at Orchard Cove, and I commented to you that I noticed that Orchard Cove had daily coffee service. And in the context of that conversation, you said to me, Len, are you suggesting that we at Newbridge should have the same? And I said, absolutely. And as a result of that brief conversation, within a week, we had daily coffee service at Newbridge. And I'm happy to say that that service continues today. So with that single memory, Steve, I simply want to wish you many, many years of a happy retirement. Thanks for all that you've done.
Thanks. Phyllis Hirsch, followed by Roz Holt.
So Steve, you and I met in 2009. We had just began this place and there was so much to do and so much to figure out. And so it's been we've been together for 13 years doing all of this. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful retirement. I wish that your next phase of life is exciting and satisfying and successful in however you define success, and let it be that. So we're talking about the next phase. So I'm talking about the first 10 years, and then you have another phase, which is the next 10 years. I hope each phase is just wonderful. Good luck.
Thanks. Roz Holt, followed by Art Luskin.
Steve, I don't usually like to write speeches. I don't feel I'm great at that, but whatever I say, it comes from my heart. I'm probably going to cry. You were so helpful to me when I started so many programs at Newbridge, the hospitality and all the other things. You were always supportive of me. I used to go to your office and I remember I used to cry too. But you always gave me encouragement to continue all the programs that we started. I had so many people helping me and I'm grateful for all that. But whenever I needed advice, I knew I could call you. And even when you were busy, you said, Roz, come on in. And I know I spent many hours and you gave me lots of advice of how to do things. And when I decided to retire, like you are from hospitality, you gave me a lot of advice and it made it easier to do that. Of course, I'm really happy I did it now. So I wish you lots of luck. My son retired young like you do, and he is the happiest person I have ever seen. So good luck to you. And I hope once in a while you'll drop in just to say hello to all of us. Well, thanks again for all the support and all the help you gave me for the last 13 years.
Art Luskin, followed by Anna Marcus. You don't see Art Luskin. Is he here? I don't see him. Okay, Anna Marcus.
Steve, I want to thank you on behalf of the Newbridge Members Association for being such an open-minded person in listening to residents' concerns and to being an active member of the council. And I want to thank you personally for the times that we've spent together talking about leadership in what I would call a spiritual context. I feel very appreciative of everything that you have done and hope that I can say thank you on behalf of the membership and reiterate Judy Goldman's prayer for your wonderful retirement, and thank you.
Thanks. Joan Rome, followed by Benita Ross.
you. I've enjoyed knowing you over the past 13 years, and I just want you good health, much happiness, and may everything you want come true.
Thank you. Benita Ross, followed by Michael Ross.
Steve, there have been so many things that I could talk about where we've had such wonderful interactions, but I wanted to focus on your contributions to the scholarship fund. You were one of the absolute original inspirations, motivators. You have provided insight, encouragement, support of every kind, and in so doing have added a piece to the quality of our culture. I can't thank you enough. It's been a wonderful experience working with you, being inspired by you, and learning all sorts of things from you. And I think that you've contributed enormously to the community, particularly via the Scholarship Fund. We wish you the most wonderful retirement. We send all the best wishes. It's been a pleasure working with you. We wish you the best.
And now Michael Ross, followed by Sylvia Schatz.
Steve, we've been here 6 years now, and I'm not sure we really knew what we were getting into when we moved here. We were the youngest people on campus for, I think, the first year, and maybe even a little longer than that. So there was a lot of uncertainty. It's the best decision we've ever made in many, many ways. And I think most of that is attributable to the culture that Newbridge has. And obviously, we feel that you've been a key element in that, responsible for it in so many ways. I just want to say thank you, and obviously wish you and Pam and the rest of your family, including the cats, the very, very best.
And Sylvia Schatz, followed by Betty Shapiro.
Hi, Steve. The community reflects its leadership, and you have been marvelous. As we are a good, supportive, wonderful community, you have set the tone for that, and that I want to thank you for. Have a wonderful retirement. It's a whole new life. We can tell you that. Have a great time. Right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Betty Shapiro, followed by Peter Shapiro.
Is it possible that I go first? Because Betty's always got the last word and correct what I say wrong, unless she wants to do it differently.
Well, you go ahead.
I want to say something before I start. I just came back from a wonderful floor meeting where Matt Hollingsworth was there. And I said to the people that were there, and I'm saying to all of you, you're observing something here today that you won't see in Washington, the peaceful transition of authority. And we're going to be in good shape. But Steve, when Jerry asked me to say a few words, I reminded him of the Talmudic injunction, never give a retired Jewish lawyer an opportunity to speak. Needless to say, he didn't take my advice, and here I am. But Betty reminded me that this is not more like a toast and not a roast. So I've eliminated at least 15 minutes of my drash. On our first day here, over 8 years ago, we were summoned to your office. It was like being called to the principal's office. Not an uncommon event for me. What did I do wrong? I'd only been here less than 24 hours. Well, my fears were soon allayed. You greeted us with a smile, welcomed us to Newbridge, asked us about ourselves, why we came here, and what were our interests. You listened to us and gave us advice as to how to integrate ourselves into the community. Further saying, if we had any questions, you would be there for us, and you have been. You were not like one of my hard-ass principals or Captain Queeg on the Kane Mutiny of fame, and my view of you has not changed. To my view, you are more like the avuncular patriarch of the family. And when anyone ever asks about Steve Colwell, your legacy will be that you created a culture where residents, staff, and management comprise one family. This is why Newbridge is special, and we can thank you for all you've done for us, and come back and see us. Thank you.
Can I go now?
Yeah, Betty, you'll be followed by Charles Small. Go ahead.
Steve, as Peter sort of hinted at, you have made this place perfect, comfortable, stimulating, and satisfying. I'm especially grateful to you for your gentle and patient guiding hand in the creation of Hadassah Newbridge and your support of our activities as we conform to the guidelines of HSL. Thank you for everything, and I wish you the very best in the next phase of your life. You've earned it and deserve it.
And Charlotte Small, followed by Judy Sobel.
Steve, first of all, we'd like to thank you, Paula and I, for setting the tone and making us realize how this is a community and as a family. And that really comes from you as a parent. You should be a proud parent on the tone you have set and the example you've set for all of us. As you and I have talked a little in the past, we're here only 6 months, so we're the newbies here. Remember to take time to slow down, observe the world around you, of friends, family, and the communities you belong to. But the most important advice I have for you is don't forget to look at your calendar once a week to figure out what day of the week you're now in. Best of luck to you and your family.
Thanks. Judy Sobel, followed by Marilyn Stone. Judy here. Yeah. Unmute. Judy here. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Steve. Although we've had a small amount of interaction, I want you to know that I have appreciated you being there for my safety, the community safety, and the enjoyment of everyone meeting, especially those of us who come from afar and have become integrated into the community. But my wish for you is may your coming years be filled with adventure, fulfillment, and happiness. I wish you every joy and thank you.
Marilyn Stone, followed by Truth Horner.
Hi, Steve. We've been together since the very beginning. Thank you for making our members part of the development of Newbridge. It's because of your involvement that Newbridge has the varied programs, courses, and all the different committees. Thank you for your leadership you provided in making Newbridge what it is today. Good luck.
Truth Horner, followed by Terry Union.
Thank you. Steve, I want to wish you good health for your retirement and Godspeed. You have made Newbridge what it is today, and we really appreciate it. All the best. Thank you.
Terry Union, followed by Marlene Yesley.
Steve, I have been as long as most of these people, but I want you to know that I concur with every comment that has been made, and I too certainly wish you a future of happiness and good health and fun with your family and traveling everywhere you want to go. But I also want to mention how grateful I am for the leadership that you gave to the environmental committee that never could have accomplished all the things that have made Newbridge a more a safer or green conscious community than I think we even had anticipated. And it was your help that led to that. And the other thing is the way you not only supported us, but the way that you were able to share with HSL what we have done here, and this has spread to all the other communities, and everybody under the HSL umbrella is now engaged in working to make this environment better and to fight global warming. But anyway, so thank you so much for everything. Wish you well, and I hope to bump into you one day on a trip.
Marlene Yesley, and then I have some additional requests. So she will be followed by Judy and David Rosenthal. Go ahead, Marlene.
Hi, Steve. I want to talk about something that people have not talked about, and that's safety and security. I moved here 4 years ago as a fairly recent widow with a very active lifestyle. And I was concerned about security because I come home late at night. Sometimes I go through the garage and fairly empty corridors. And I hear your voice in my head whenever I do it, because you assured me about the security that we have at Newbridge with the long access road, with the multiple cameras, and with the trustworthy employees. And this has been very encouraging because I continue to lead my crazy lifestyle, which I wish on you. But I also wish on you long life, good health, and lasting happiness.
Thank you. Judy and David Rosenthal, followed by Serena Kafka.
I agree with all of the comments that people have already made, so I won't repeat them, but I did want to say that Steve, your ability and willingness to listen to perhaps new ideas or new activities that we could do were always thoughtfully supported and made a huge difference in our attempt and everyone else's to keep a very active community moving. And not at the very least, your extraordinary ability to lead this community during a worldwide pandemic, which was certainly unexpected by us, and I'm sure certainly not expected by you. So congratulations for all those good things that have allowed Newbridge to grow, and we wish you all the very best.
Steve, thank you for all you've done for Newbridge and for Hebrew Senior Life. I think some of your experiences traveling to Japan, traveling to China, no, I guess it was just China, to tell people about Newbridge, and I'm sure you were ecstatic about those presentations. I think especially I want to thank you for keeping us safe over these past 2.5 to 3 years. It's been an incredible experience, and you really shined during that period. I also want to thank you for your beer expertise. I think that I'm not sure how many people know what an expert you are and connoisseur of beers, but I hope you come back and continue to educate us about beer. Good luck in the future, Steve.
Serena, and I don't see anyone else, but if you others want to speak, raise your hand using the reaction section. Serena, go ahead.
There once was a chap named Steve whose talents you wouldn't believe. At piano, his gifts are sweet. Best of all, his kindness and good sense can't be beat. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Steve, you have the last word.
Well, I see Barbara and Jerry Nadich. Looks like Barbara there.
Barbara?
Of course, Steve, I had to wait until last. You had forgotten in your last foodie that someone had said to you, for better or for worse, but not for lunch, is what retirement was all about. And you have to give credit to me because I did that. But Jerry and I do remember our first meeting with you, and I very quickly honed in on the fact that we both were upstaters, upstate New Yorkers, and that clearly gave us a bond. I know I've kidded about lots of things, but I do want to wish you well and enjoy your happiness and retirement.
Okay, I don't see anyone else. Steve, go ahead.
Well, I'm all, it took 13.5 years, but I'm speechless. And so I'm winging it here a little bit. I first of all, thank you for so many things and the flood of memories as you guys were relating things that, were tucked away back in the cranium there and all that. And I have to say, I'm completely humbled by it, because if anyone asks me, and when people ask me, the credit goes to you guys. And I said this to a couple of residents, all right, maybe I was sitting at the tiller of a sailboat and I would just gently direct the nose of the sailboat a certain way. But the residents were the wind and the employees were the sail and the boat was HSL. That is how Newbridge got around, was all these amazing people making amazing contributions. And I'll share one memory with you that I'll never forget. It was at an ILMA meeting and we were having a bit of a cantankerous conversation, not with me, surprising, actually with each other. And it was about donations and solicitation and stuff like that. And I remember thinking, we all make contributions differently. And some people do it through their expertise. I think of Jerry creating this call. Some people do it through money, like Sheldon Adelson, literally giving us the money to seed what is now ours, right? It's ours. And some people contribute through what they do by leading a particular committee or a particular phase of life that's so important. And others participate in those groups. And I mean, talk about the wind in the sails. I appreciate the thanks. I so appreciate the thanks. But I also want to be a reflection back to you guys, because for the little bit I did, you did it 10, 100, 1,000-fold. And honestly, you're getting somebody who is going to be equally, if not better, at my job in Matt. And I know that this relationship gets to continue with him, and that, the best of Newbridge is still coming. The best of who you are as a community is coming. And even though I'll be witness to it from afar, I'll forever be proud of the little bit, I might say, was the part that I contributed to the whole. So thank you all very, very much, both those who didn't speak as well as those who did speak. It's indelible. It's indelible, this experience. And every part of it was part of my growth. And so I have all of you to thank for that. And so just a genuine appreciation for every single one of you. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Steve. And so next week is a new beginning with Matt Hollingsworth head, and we'll see you then.